What's going on? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back on the boxing grind. So many comments coming through, can't get to them all, so I'm getting to as many comments as I can, and that's probably a product of the channel growing. So keep supporting the channel, keep sharing the videos and liking them and sharing them. You know, keep doing that, man. I appreciate it, man. Talk about Danny Jacobs and Jermall Charlo. We're mostly about Jermall Charlo here. Would it serve Jermall Charlo best before he eventually fights Gennady Golovkin? Let's say, he could fight him down the line, maybe end of the year, beginning of next year. Would it serve him best to face Danny Jacobs next, before he gets in the ring with Gennady Golovkin? And I hear it every day in the comment section. Well, this guy, he ain't fought nobody. Jermall ain't fought nobody. I mean, who has that middleweight, man? Who's fought elite competition, man? Nobody. Even Triple G, Canelo Alvarez ain't a real middleweight. That was his first fight at middleweight. Seriously, that was his real first fight at middleweight. Billy Joe Saunders' best win is Andy Lee and Chris Eubanks Jr. Danny Jacobs' best win is Peter Quillen, knocking out a retired Peter Quillen. And Jermall Charlo at 154 had better wins than most everybody here with Austin Trout and with J-Rock, a guy that was a real, true rising prospect star. So at middleweight, he don't have the best wins, but all his wins at middleweight was mandated by the WBC. Don't get mad at anybody but the WBC. They mandated those fights. They mandated him fights the mandatory, the number one contender, Jorge Sebastian Hyland, who's been waiting forever to get his mandatory shot, and they mandated him to fight Hugo Centennial Jr. So with those things, they mandated, the WBC mandated that. Be mad at them. Okay, because Danny Jacobs obviously had an opportunity to face Jermall Charlo. Jermall had been calling him out even before he moved to middleweight officially. He called him out. Shout out to the homie Mazuma TV. He called that out when he disrespected the city of Philadelphia, and Jesse Hart called them all fighters bums after J-Rock was talking all that cash shit and got his ass whooped. He was ready to move up to middleweight now. He said versus the Austin Trout fight, he was weight drained. In the Julian J-Rock fight, he was weight drained. So, so what people don't understand is that was mandated. I mean, Triple G fought nobody at middleweight. Everybody he fought was Taylor. Was something was wrong with him. They had power, no boxing skills. They had speed and quickness and no power, or they was just straight bums. They was just average fighters. You know what I'm saying? Other than Danny Jacobs, a guy that didn't have a chin. That's why he took the Triple G. Triple G took the fight. Kell Brook was a welterweight, and he didn't do what he supposed to do versus Canelo Alvarez. He was supposed to knock him out, and he didn't. And I'm watching that fight right now as I talk on this video. Came on YouTube, so. Like I said, you can just, pick through anybody's resume. None of these guys really fought elite level competition. That's why they need to fight each other. But I think for experience, I think Jermall Charlo should fight Danny Jacobs before he gets in with Triple G. He's been calling Danny Jacobs out, and Danny Jacobs been, eluding him and swerving around him, saying that he can come over to HBO and he'll fight him. But Eddie Hearn didn't want him to fight Jermall Charlo. And now all of a sudden, they didn't do good numbers at the Barclays Center, and they didn't even fill up the arena halfway. And now they want to fight Jermall Charlo because he has a buzz in Brooklyn. He fought there a couple of times, and the fans, was cheering. They like what they see in the knockouts they get, and they feel that now that a fight with Danny Jacobs and Jermall Charlo makes sense with them. Now that Eddie Hearn can't get Danny in there with Canelo or Triple G because Peter Nelson don't want to force that. So now when it's convenient for them, they want to hop in there with Jermall Charlo. And Jermall Charlo basically like, I'm the interim champion now. We could have fought for this interim belt. You know what? I want to fight you until I get my shot at Golovkin. And thus, he's coming back in August in Houston. So he got a hometown fight. Now, he could be like, all right, Danny Jacobs, you can come over here and fight me in Houston in my hometown because you want me to fight you in Brooklyn. You need me. I don't need you. I get the lion's share of the money. I gave you an opportunity when you had the upper hand to fight in Brooklyn. I told you to scrap the Lucky fight, and I would scrap the Hugo fight, and we could have fought for the interim title WC belt. We could have fought for that then. But all of a sudden, you didn't want to fight me, and now I'm in a position of power. You can come to Houston to fight me. If not, I don't need you. At the end of the day, I'm going to get handed a WC belt or I'm going to get a Golovkin shot. You had your shot at Golovkin. You came up short. It's my turn. It's my time. But I think it would serve him well to get in there with another middleweight. They got some, speed, got some power. They got some elite properties about their game to get ready for a guy like Golovkin. You know what I'm saying? You can get all the best sparring in the world, but you can't emulate a real fight. And I think he needs to get in with a big middleweight like Danny Jacobs to really see, where the measuring stick is at. And I think that's exactly what he needs to do. Will it happen? I doubt it. I think he gave him opportunity to fight, and now, Jermall Charlo's gonna take another cherry pick type fight in in August or whenever he come back in Houston. So I mean, I think that ship has sailed, and I think he gave Danny Jacobs the opportunity, and now he's in a shotgun. He don't get Danny Jacobs the opportunity now, man. You know, but I think it would be smart for him to get in there with Danny Jacobs to fight a guy like that. Even though Danny Jacobs didn't look good versus Saluki, I thought Saluki squelched it out by 1 point, but hey, you know, he got the win. He was the A side, and he was the A side. He was at home, so it wasn't no way that Saluki was gonna come in there short of knocking him out, getting the victory. But I think it would be a smart idea for Jermall Charlo to get in there with Danny Jacobs. If not Danny Jacobs, he needs to get in there with somebody, Andrade, somebody that got some elite type of skills. Because he's been, ever since leaving junior middleweight, he ain't fought nobody at middleweight. He ain't fought nobody that had exceptional speed, exceptional power, nothing like that. Hugo was a good puncher. He had exceptional size and, length and, had some good talent. But at the end of the day, he had the chin of a poet. He had the chin of a poet, man. So, it is what it is, man. I think it was that Angelo Dundee that said that about I can't remember the guy's name, man. Floyd Patterson. I think it was Angelo Dundee that said that about Floyd Patterson's chin. Said he had the chin of a poet. But I think it would serve Charlo well. But will he do it? I doubt it, man. You can't just go into a big fight with Triple G with fighting, okay competition, an average or bottom feeding competition. You got to get on the elite high, man. You got to fight somebody that's on the upswing, that's a strong veteran, or that's a good fighter, good fighter. And I think he should mix it up with Danny Jacobs before he moves up to Triple G. But who knows? He might get handed that belt. Triple G might drop these belts soon. That's what Abel Sanchez kind of hinted at earlier. And if that's the case, then I wonder what he want to unify with a Billy Joe Saunders, because Billy Joe Saunders want to get the hell up out of middleweight too. He got ambitions to move up to super middleweight and challenge the Callum Smith and George Groves runner, and he's about to retire pretty soon. He said he don't want to be in the game too much longer. So, Billy Joe Saunders ready to step up out the division as well too. So, who knows how much longer that a guy like Danny Jacobs can make the weight. You know what I'm saying? So, Andrade, he continues not to fight nobody and continues to be stagnant. So, the middleweight division could turn over real quick. You're going to have the talent infusion of Swift J. Hurd eventually. Jaime Maguia eventually going to move up. You're going to have, certain things happen in the division. So it'll be nice to see all the turnover and everybody moving up and everybody moving up out the division, making super middleweight a little bit more interesting. But I think Jermall should definitely fight, Danny first, man. I think that should be a very, very imperative behind this list before he goes in there with Triple G. But if not, roll the dice and see what happens. TBC and more. We gone.